covering the High Plains with news, weather, and information. From TV23 Studios in Sublette, this is High Plains Today.
Hi everybody, good Friday. You know what? We have a special edition today. We are talking with Renae Hickert. She is the Superintendent of Schools at USD 480 and Liberal. And Rex Bruce, he is the Superintendent of Schools right here in Sublette, USD 374. Hi guys.
Hello.
Good of you to be here today. All right, big question. Since everything that's happening in Topeka that happened last year, kind of carried over into this year, state of education in southwest Kansas, because they've got a big district, medium-sized, small district represented here. State of education, southwest Kansas. Where are we at? Renae?
I would feel like, I think like public education's under attack in Kansas, but in southwest Kansas, I think we are continuing to fight the good fight. Our teachers do a great job with our kids every day. They don't let that carry over into the classroom. That's how I view it.
Okay. Rex?
I agree with what she said. I'm fearful that in a way that just the morale's going down every year. And every time you turn around, someone in the legislature or at the state level is bashing education, and teachers feel that. And
do you guys think your staff now? Does your staff? Do your staff, your teachers, and even your custodians and the administrators that work under you guys, are they looking at things that are going on in Topeka, or are they kind of leaving that, just let it go? I'm going to concentrate on what's going on in my classroom.
I think you have some of both. I think you have some teachers, especially if they're involved with NEA or KNEA, they're very aware. I know my district leadership, my building principals are all very aware. They pay close attention because they know that that's just a stone throws away from impacting instruction, depending on what the legislature decides to do.
When they hear something, they take it personally, whether it has to do with Sublette or Liberal, but they take it personally that it's an attack on them. And that's a big part of what I have to do now is to keep morale up and like you said, not have it to go into the classroom. But, I tell ours, I'm going to take care of the money. We're going to keep going. You're not going to be fired. Me and the school board will take care of that. Charge ahead, and we'll take care of you. But,
so what are the biggest things, that you're hearing out there that teachers coming in, especially new teachers fresh out of college or have been teaching for 1 or 2 years, what are they saying? What do they hear that really upsets them the most that's happening in Kansas?
Well, I think we can take it a step further back than that. I think we have people who hear about Kansas and don't want to come to Kansas to teach. We recruit nationwide, you know that. And for the last 2 years, we haven't been able to fill all of our positions. I think people hear about what Kansas is doing. I don't think it's a teacher-friendly state anymore. I don't think it's an education-friendly state. And I think we're being impacted that way in our ability to fill positions.
Now, do you see that at a smaller district, Bruce or Rex?
not to the same, because we don't recruit that much out of state. So not yet. I haven't seen it.
Being a smaller district, I mean, you get a lot of your teachers that are from Southwest Kansas, say, and that are coming back to Southwest Kansas and want to have roots in Southwest Kansas and live, you know, and teach here?
The majority of our people are, that's true. We have a few once in a while that are not from here that come here, but you know, we've been pretty fortunate that they'll stay. They like it out here. They like what we offer. We try to do our best to make them, you know, we've got some things that some districts don't have. We have a staff daycare. We do some things we have to do to keep them.
That's awesome.
Okay, Renee's going back to liberal and said, we got to get a staff daycare going.
We might even have space for that. Yeah, it would be. It would be great.
So, okay, but, you know, in liberal at a larger district, and I don't know, Garden and Dodge probably too, I mean, from recruiting, you know, in such a bigger area to get teachers to Southwest Kansas, but a lot of them, once you get them here, you know, a big majority of them, you know, like Rex was saying, like Southwest Kansas, believe it or not.
What we fight, and I would say it's true, once we get them in our doors, we provide them a lot of support. We do a lot of things for our new staff. But what happens as they grow older and get experience, there's always that desire to return home. So anywhere from year 3 to year 7 is when we begin to lose staff because they have that experience under their belt. They can become a contender for a job closer to home. We see that a lot, yeah.
All right. Okay, we've touched on that part of it. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to discuss pretty much how stuff in Topeka is really affecting, recruitment and how you're running your districts from a business standpoint too. Sound okay? All right. Stick around. We'll be back with more after this.
You're watching High Plains Today on TV23 with host Chris Jewell. TV23's internet service and 4G live streaming provided by United Wireless. Coverage you deserve. Service you expect. United Wireless.
Welcome back. I'm still joined by Rex Bruce, Superintendent at Sublette USD 374, and Renae Hickert, Superintendent USD 480 in Liberal. All right, we were talking about the state of education in Kansas. And Renae, you brought up the fact that you don't think that Kansas is a very teacher-friendly school. That's a biggie. How do we go about, as educators, how do you guys go about changing that to make Kansas become a teacher-friendly school? Renae?
Well, I think it goes back to there's only so much we can do. I mean, we can make them feel welcome, work on morale. I think it goes back to making them feel secure that their job is going to be there. And in order for us to be able to do that, the state needs to get its act together and adequately fund education.
But you've got the Kansas Policy Institute, the Kansas Chamber of Commerce, both out there saying that we put $13 billion into education. Look, we fully funded CAPERS. They're telling us that schools have a surplus in the state of Kansas and that you guys are hoarding your money. You got a lot of money sitting around over there, Rex, at the school in Sublette?
No.
You got a room full of money?
Unfortunately, most people don't understand school budget, school finance, and they know what they hear. And, one of the things that just drives me crazy is the big push for the 65% to be spent on instruction in the classroom. We're cheating. The governor's state address that we were immoral, how we don't send enough money into the classroom. But the numbers that they use aren't equal. They don't use the same numbers.
It's not an apples to apples thing.
No, they talk about instruction. They don't. And then they talk about administrative costs. Here's what's included in administrative costs: counselors, nurses, tech guys, director of maintenance, director of transportation. Those are not considered instruction.
But they have contact with your kids every day.
We've got to have those counselors, and we've got to have the nurses, and all of that is lumped into administrative costs, as some people portray the finance numbers. And that's really not adequate. That's not accurate, as far as what they're saying. So that's tough. Those people, they're being just flat told they're not important. They're not part of education, and they're as important as it gets.
But those people, and they have contact with your kids every day, on a daily basis.
I contend every single position in a USD is tied to instruction. Yes. Your payroll clerk makes out paychecks so teachers can have a paycheck. That bus driver drives that kid to school so he can get in the classroom. That cook cooks the meal. I would contend every single dollar we spend is spent on instruction. Because, even with athletics, we drive all over the state. But those are lessons those kids are learning that are going to take them throughout their life, with sports, teamwork, looking out for one another. To me, that's all instruction. Whether it's in the classroom, in a school bus, on the football field, it doesn't matter. It's all about making a well-rounded young person so they can go out into the world and be successful. That's what we do.
We talked about what we can do for the state to build up education. And if the state will fund us, that will make our jobs a lot easier. But I've got to say, on the bright side, it's unbelievable how resilient teachers
Yes,
and,
I agree.
and other staff members. I've got 2 kids, just my own personal kid, just started into education. They love it. You know, sometimes we got to back up a little bit. And and that's what I tell my staff. You know, education cycles. And don't get negative. Just fight the fight. I'll fight it for you. You know, we're going to fight for funding. We're going to fight to have education to be important, an important part of kids, and where people respect that. And they're resilient. They still have their heads high. They still teach hard. They work hard. I mean, teach every day. My kids personally, they love education.
The thing that has always bothered me, and being on the Board of Education and stuff, you know, you look at it as far as being in this, you're in this for the kids. Mm-hmm. It's all about the kiddos that are going in and out those doors, on and off those buses every day. And running a school district and doing a budget for a school district, which I've seen, I don't want to do one, but I've seen it, you know, it's not a typical business. People think that you can run a school district like a business. It's all black and white, but it's not. Right. Because you're not really a business, you're a service. And that's a whole different deal. And I don't think the people in Topeka have any idea of that.
You take every single child that walks through your doors, when a business doesn't have to do that.
Right.
And some cost more than others.
Yes.
Yeah.
And take more resources and time.
But see, all that waiting and everything is gone because of the block grant.
You know, I used an example once. They talked about efficiency, and every school in the state can be more efficient. My answer is set up trainings. I guarantee you we'll be there. I want to know, you want to know how we can save every dollar and use it the most effectively. But when you look at things from the outside, let's give it, for instance, we had two employees get cancer last few years, and they didn't have the sick days to make it. We paid them. I went to our board and I said, here's a veteran. Are we going to just let them go through their last days and not? That's up to a local board to make that decision. And paper, that's not efficient. If it was a business, that would not be efficient. It's the right thing to do. So sometimes as a school, we have to do some things for our employees and our kids that don't make sense with dollars and cents.
But it's the right thing to do.
It's the right educational thing to do.
Okay. All right. Stay right there. We come back after this break. We're going to look at throwing out Common Core, and I know you both are very involved in that. So let's talk about that, and I'll be back with more with these two right after this. And welcome back. I'm still joined by Mr. Rex Bruce and Renae Hickert, both superintendents here in Southwest Kansas. We've been talking about the state of education in Southwest Kansas. All right, you two. The latest big thing, as if you haven't had enough to handcuff you a little bit from Topeka, the latest one, HB 2676, is the anti-Common Core bill, is what I'm going to call it. It's going to prohibit anything to do with Common Core, and it's now made it out of committee. I don't think it's ever made it out of committee before. So, I mean, what does that do to districts in Southwest Kansas? Or, in fact, the whole state of Kansas, actually.
Well, I would tell you, I'm not certain there would be a single resource or curriculum that we could use, because the Common Core has been around for, what, 6-7 years? We've invested a lot of time, material, human capital into building a curriculum, finding resources. This is my 4th year in Liberal, and we've literally worked on it every single year I've been there, and we finally have it to where it's where the teachers can understand it, we can teach it. It'd be like hitting them in the gut with a baseball bat, because our teachers are the ones that have written our units and our curriculum.
Wasn't written federally, was it?
Nope. Our teachers did it.
So where does that put us? I mean, you know, does that mean that every textbook you have is obsolete?
If we've got
gotten them in the
newer
last
than 5-6 years, yes.
Yep.
And even some of the older ones have the same standards that are in Common Core. And if the legislation comes out that says no money can be spent on anything in Common Core, that's going to throw away a lot of standards.
Well, and won't the state of Kansas lose a lot of federal money also if they do away with the Common Core?
I'm not sure about that, but I know federal dollar. We receive a lot of federal dollars in our district.
Yeah. and I'm not familiar with how that's tied together.
Okay.
But I'm sure they'd
But
find a way.
Common Core's tied into AP. You have AP courses.
Yeah,
don't you?
well, we have AP
And it's tied into
honors and-
ACT.
Yeah, and that's huge in our district.
So
We have
and
large numbers in
some people
AP.
are saying that will go away. You know, that AP courses and ACT and SAT and that kind of stuff is going to go away. But there are others that say, no, it's not going to affect that. But how can it not?
If it's by the letter of the statute that says nothing containing in Common Core, can't use taxpayer money to fund that.
Because I'm sure they've changed their assessments to reflect what's being taught in the classroom.
They have.
Now, and the state of Kansas has redone their state assessments, right? Pretty much?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now would they have to take a step backwards also and redo all the state assessments?
And
They
I
would.
think the price tag was around 10 million.
Yep.
7 to 10 million
And they
to
just
do that.
got the new assessment, was it a year before last, they tried and had some technical glitches. But last year was year one for that. So they'd have to start over too. It would literally take the school districts in Kansas and KSDE back to ground zero.
Yes.
Back to little chalkboards and abacuses.
Sometimes I think
Almost.
that's where they want us to go.
Kind of makes it feel
Feels
that
that
way,
way.
doesn't it?
I very much feel like public education is under attack in this state. Very much so.
Why is that?
I have no idea. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of our legislatures were educated in a public school, or I'd like to think so.
So, I mean, what, you know, and they have these hearings, it's come out of committee. They had a guy who is a known anti-Common Core guy in the country, came in and testified for like an hour or whatever, but there was no rebuttal from anybody that was pro-Common Core, and they closed the hearing. So I don't really understand where that's taking us either. But
I always thought our government was about looking at both sides, checks and balances, and it feels like sometimes that Kansas is trying to take that checks and balances out of the legislative process in our state.
I will say one thing, though, for our school districts in southwest Kansas, that, and like you guys are talking, you know, you're always talking to your personnel and about morale and those things, but it really amazes me that the teachers and the people that work in school districts get so much out of so little of the funding that,
Oh,
that
yeah.
they do get.
Yeah. Talk about efficiencies.
Well, yeah,
Teachers-
because Kansas is in the bottom 25 as far as money spent
Right.
for student in the country, but yet Kansas is in the top 10 as far as how kids achieve.
I agree.
And the human time that goes into that, you know, it's not uncommon to drive by our schools evenings, weekends. Teachers are there. Teachers are there, they're working. They're taking the lemons and making lemonade out of what they have. I mean,
And I'm worried. You know, there's a reason other states don't perform as well as Kansas. I'm hoping those reasons don't trickle into Kansas and our educational system.
How so?
goes-
What bothers you the most, Rex, on that?
Morale, funding, resources, you know, all of that. You know, if we talk about Common Core, there go resources. Now we got to change. We got to retrain, reteach, relearn. Money. You know, man, when you look at the salaries, there's some people. It's unbelievable how they can make it. My son, it just started again. He said, "Dad, how could a family make it on a teacher's pay?" I said, "They can't.
they can't.
You can. A single guy can, kinda, but you're not going to really get ahead. To you know, and then you look at what we pay our classified people.
Oh,
You know,
man.
$16,000, $17,000, $20,000 a year for 9-month people. That needs to be changed. It's not all about money, but you still got to pay your bills. You got to survive. You got to keep people from beating on your door wanting payment, because you're not a good employee if that's in the back of your mind. And we've got to get some of that pay up, which is what I want for funding. Is
Take
main
care of
thing
our
is going-
people. We want
Yes.
That's what we want. We want to educate our kids and take care of our people. That's all we want to do.
As far as educating them, you know, and you've got all this new stuff that you've rolled into your buildings, and your staff is presenting to your students, and all of a sudden they want to take all that away. So I don't think a lot of people out there understand that we're backing up.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
We are.
But as far as personnel and districts and everything, and getting stuff out of your staff, state education in Southwest Kansas, pretty good from that standpoint.
Yep. I would say excellent.
All right.
Very proud of what
I
we
can
do
tell.
in Liberal. Very
You two,
proud.
you two are, I think you're both pretty good at what you do.
We hope so, but
I
we
have
always
a pretty good-
improve.
I have a pretty good feeling that you're both pretty good. You got a lot of people under you that are pretty good too.
Yes.
I appreciate
Thank
you
you.
guys coming in today. Thanks.
No
Hey, if we
problem.
get anything else boiling up in Southwest Kansas in education, I can call you, right?
Sure.
All right. Renae,
We might
Rex?
not answer, but sure.
Oh, okay. Thanks, guys, for coming in today.
No problem.
All right. Yeah, there you have it. State of Education, Southwest Kansas. Thanks.
Keep up to date with the latest information from TV23 on our Facebook page, KDGLTV.